Sponsored by Tezlab. Click the link in the description to download the app for free. Tesla has a market cap of $578 billion. Apple has a market cap of $2 trillion. People like to compare these companies a lot, and there are definitely some comparisons to be made, but there are a lot of differences as well. Currently, Tesla makes premium-priced electric cars, and Apple makes premium-priced computers, phones, tablets, and more. For right now, they aren't competing directly, and Tesla somewhat feels like the Apple of cars. But soon, they will be. And that's what we're talking about today, so let's get into it. Tesla is king when it comes to electric cars. They repeatedly sell more electric cars than any other companies and have become the experts when it comes to everything related to them. People are starting to catch on and just see how ahead they are in so many facets of what cars will be in the future, which is most likely contributing to their skyrocketing stock. Tesla is also hard at work on self-driving, and we should be seeing more massive upgrades to their full self-driving package within the next year and possibly sooner. Apple is king when it comes to computing. While they don't sell the most computers or even the most phones for that matter, their popularity is unparalleled, and they have become the experts when it comes to smartphones and computers. While this of course is up for debate, a big part of what Apple does is wait until a technology or product gets close to making sense and then revolutionize it. They revolutionize it by improving it radically to make sense for consumers or just make it more attractive to consumers than it was before. They did this with the iPod, iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, and now AirPods Max. MP3 players existed, then the iPod came and the market shifted. Smartphones existed, Apple made the iPhone, and the market shifted to this design of one big screen. Tablets existed, Apple made the iPad, and the market shifted. Headphones existed, Apple made the AirPods Max, and well, we'll see what happens there. But Apple has yet to make a car, and many people think that when they do, Tesla will be done for. For Apple, up until this point, cars have not made sense. Apple makes a point of being a green company with a recent target of being completely carbon neutral by 2030, so for Apple, they don't want to make an internal combustion engine car. It's dirty inside and out, and everything Apple is clean and refined. Battery technology hasn't been at a place that has made sense for Apple either, since there are so many sacrifices being made to range and charging speeds, and Apple doesn't want those issues in a product they produce. Tesla, on the other hand, has been in the trenches with battery technology. They started with the original Roadster and then the very pricey Model S when it first came out that still didn't have a range to compete with a gas car. On top of that, they had to build up a charging network to make it possible to do a road trip in a Tesla, since before the supercharger network, you'd be lucky to find a slow charger and it was incredibly slow. Well, Tesla has ramped up and improved battery technology and utilization to the point where the most recent Model 3 long range comes in at $46,990 and gets 353 miles of range. Now is about the time where Apple gets serious. In my opinion, they're waiting for 400 miles of range to be easily achievable. While 300 miles has been a milestone for a while, 400 miles of range really dispels the arguments against EVs and range, since that range could allow you to take a road trip from Southern to Northern California on one charge. On top of this, Apple is all about the future, so they're waiting to make a car that does something radically different or better than we've seen before. They don't just want to make a shiny car with cool looks and slap an Apple logo on it. They want you to get in and go, oh, yep, that's an Apple car. They want you to fall in love and find something you didn't realize you needed in their car. A big part of that goal for them will be self-driving. Many companies are working on self-driving and making great progress, but Tesla seems to be at the forefront with their self-driving beta, showing some insane results, and making the future of full self-driving look even more promising. Before now, it kind of looked like a pipe dream, but now that companies are getting so close, it's about time for Apple to jump in. And there has been a lot of evidence, but especially recent evidence, that Apple is indeed working on a car and working on self-driving as well. The project has been leaked for a while, called Project Titan, but just this past week we got a few more updates about it, signaling that Apple is still working on it and getting more serious about it. Previously, Tim Cook talked about Apple's focus on autonomous systems in an interview, and talked about the electrification of cars as well. Here's what he said.
There is a major disruption looming there, not only for self-driving cars, but also the electrification piece. If you've driven an all-electric car, it's actually a marvelous experience. Plus, you have ride sharing on top of this, right? And so you've got kind of three vectors of change happening generally in the same time frame.
Interestingly, these 3 vectors that he talks about are all Tesla's vectors. Tesla is at the forefront of electrification, autonomous driving, and with autonomous driving will come the robotaxi network, ride sharing, that Elon has talked about for years. So our first new piece of info this week is that we heard through Bloomberg that Apple is continuing work on their autonomous vehicle project and that Apple's head of artificial intelligence, John Giandrea, is overseeing the project, taking over for Bob Mansfield. Here we have a photo of Apple out testing self-driving software. So obviously they're doing testing detached from their own vehicle, and it looks like they may be working with LiDAR, which we know Tesla isn't. Apple has been working on this since 2014, and so far it seems that their focus has been on software as opposed to making their own hardware. Back in 2017, Tim Cook said, quote, "We're focusing on autonomous systems. It's a core technology that we view as very important. We sort of see it as the mother of all AI projects. It's probably one of the most difficult projects actually to work on." So what does Elon Musk think about all of this? Well, he was interviewed and asked about Google's work on cars versus Apple's. He talked about how Google would be an indirect competitor because they would be licensing their software to other car companies, but here's what he said about Apple.
Yeah, that'll be more direct.
That'll be more direct?
Yeah.
You can tell that by the hiring pattern and
Yeah,
that kind of
absolutely.
stuff?
He sees Apple and Tesla as being direct competitors in this space whenever Apple comes to market. But then he continues by saying,
I think they should have embarked upon this project sooner, actually. I don't think they'll be in volume production sooner than maybe 2020. That'll be like the soonest.
well, first it's good to see that Elon time exists for predictions about other companies as well as Tesla. We know he's promised level 5 autonomy in 2020 and many other things that have been massively delayed, but here Apple is even further behind than what he thought they would be. Clearly we seem to be at the early stages of talks within Apple for the Apple Car, and 2020 is wrapping up. But we heard reports this week that Apple is beginning preliminary cooperation negotiations with well-known automotive electronics suppliers, and they continue to hire new employees from other companies, including Tesla. A quote from the report says, "In addition to continuing to dig high-level executives and R&D engineers from Tesla and other automakers, Apple has also reported that it will set up factories in the United States in recent months." This is a pretty regular practice in tech companies these days because as long as there is no intellectual property being stolen, if you get the guy who worked on Tesla's full self-driving computer, he can help you with your full self-driving computer. Apple is working with their supply chain partner, TSMC, on an autonomous vehicle chip for an Apple Car that is supposed to be similar to a Tesla. Something else to note is that Tesla is supposedly working on a new hardware 4.0 chip from this same company that Apple is working on their future self-driving chip with. While this is still a ways off, I'll give you an argument on both sides of this. Before we go any further, I'd like to thank Tezlab for sponsoring today's video. Tezlab is a free app for iPhone and Android devices developed and founded by Tesla owners with the goal of extending Tesla's vision of a sustainable future. There is a subscription option available, but the free version of the app is by itself well worth it. They are continually updating their app, and their most recent update is all about our impact on the environment, calculating CO2 emissions from charging. When you charge, Tezlab automatically calculates your carbon impact based on where the energy from your power company is actually coming from. But it doesn't stop there. Instead of just staring at your carbon impact and feeling bad about it, they now have an option to offset your impact by planting trees. This feature that they call Growing Your Forest has a lot of different options and will help ensure that you're truly carbon neutral. You pay through the app, the funds are sent to one tree planted, and it's as easy as that. This new feature absolutely helps with Tesla's mission to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy, and it's something I'm definitely interested in and hope you are too. If you are and want to check out the many other great features this app includes for free, such as trip tracking and efficiency monitoring, head to tezlab.app/RyanShawTech, linked in the description and comments below to check it out. On the one hand, Apple is getting incredibly good at making their own chips. Tesla made the full self-driving computer, but still hasn't actually achieved full self-driving. Apple has been making their own chips in iPhones for years now, keeping their phones as the quickest out there, and just this year they introduced their new M1 chip for their computers. The M1 chip at first kind of just seemed like Apple didn't want to work with Intel anymore, but what we're seeing is that the M1 chip is way faster, way cooler, and way more efficient than anything we've seen Apple ship before. We have comparisons of people using the new MacBook Air with the M1 chip and exporting 4K videos faster than a full built-out Mac Pro with an Intel chip. So this chip is serious business, and it's just the first that Apple is coming out with for their computers, with rumors of chips that are way faster coming down the pipeline. So Apple knows how to make their own processors and chips. They've been doing it for years, and the results are truly reflecting on their computers that we're now seeing. This could lead Apple to make an incredible self-driving chip that just blows Tesla out of the water. Intel has been making processors for decades, and Apple is now beating them. Tesla has been doing the full self-driving chip for a while, but it's very possible that Apple, with all of their resources, comes around and beats Tesla. Now, on the other hand, Apple isn't perfect. Many of their products, in my opinion, come out later than they should, are overpriced, and don't perform as well as their competitors. They sell anyway, and I even buy them anyway because people love Apple and the brand, along with integration, but Tesla has been working crazy hard on self-driving, and it's a daunting task. Tesla's method has been a neural network, using AI to learn from and respond to data from 8 cameras around the car. The system is constantly improving and collecting data on Tesla's entire fleet of cars, and should improve exponentially as the full self-driving on city streets feature truly comes to all customers. We've seen it in beta doing a lot of impressive things, and it should just be getting better from here. Unless Apple is sitting on some insane revolution, it may take them a while to truly catch up if they ever can. Now, regardless of both of those arguments, I cannot wait to see this happen if it actually does. Comparing an Apple self-driving system and a Tesla self-driving system sounds like a future I want to be in. Reportedly, Apple's autonomous driving system has been able to drive 180 miles on average before needing intervention. So that right there sounds pretty promising, but there's so much more to know about this system before we can get excited about it. So self-driving is one thing, but ramping up vehicle production and supplies and all of that is another. We saw Tesla go through insane struggles ramping up the Model 3, and Apple will likely face similar struggles, although they have enormous amounts of cash to fall back on if anything goes wrong. The rumors are that the Apple Car could debut between 2023 and 2025, so within the next 3 to 5 years we could see this car, but one aspect that we're forgetting here is how Apple will actually electrify these cars to make them competitive. Tesla is the king of electric car efficiency. We see lots of really compelling electric cars coming to market, but overall the story is that they have a larger battery pack than Tesla does, and they get less range. As one example, the new Volkswagen ID.4 has a 250-mile range on an 82 kilowatt-hour battery pack, whereas the Model Y gets 326 miles of range on a 75 kilowatt-hour battery pack. Apple is gonna have the same problem. They're going to have to work with the same battery suppliers as everyone else, and there will be constraints. If they plan to start there, they could potentially get the efficiency such that it matches or beats Tesla, but it would be beating Tesla where they are right now. Tesla has huge plans to revolutionize battery technology in cars. Their Battery Day event showed us how they plan to revolutionize every part of the process, bringing the overall cost down by 56%, increasing range, reducing charge times, and more. They are planning to build their own battery production lines at their future Texas and Berlin factories to help with this, since for their cars to truly go electric, there is a supply chain issue. On top of this, if the technology doesn't improve, it'll remain expensive and slow the process of electrification, which Tesla is laser focused on. In order for this Apple Car to truly succeed, they're going to need their own revolutionary battery technology. And here's what I think it may be: solid state. This week we heard that Toyota is reportedly on the verge of rolling out their own game-changing solid-state battery. They will be revealing a prototype of this tech in 2021 that Toyota promises will be a game changer for the entire industry, not just electric vehicles. Solid-state batteries are supposed to be a good alternative to lithium-ion batteries, which everyone uses at this point, and they should offer better energy density. Reportedly, this technology will allow Toyota to enable EVs a range of 500 kilometers or 310 miles on one charge. While this isn't revolutionary at all, the revolutionary part is that it can charge from 0 to 100% in 10 minutes. On a Tesla currently with V3 chargers, this is still over 25 minutes and probably closer to 35. While these are early reports and rumors and this technology absolutely needs to be proven, I would guess that this is what Apple would go for. Tesla has been working with lithium-ion batteries this whole time, but Apple may want to opt for solid state if it truly has advantages like a 10-minute full charge time. And if this technology is real, they could get their hands on it by just acquiring whatever companies they need to acquire to get this technology. They have the money. Again, this technology has to be proven, and part of me feels that if it were truly as revolutionary as Toyota is making it sound, they wouldn't also be touting their new updated hydrogen Mirai, but that's just a theory. Tesla obviously doesn't feel that solid state is a worthwhile venture at this point. They are focused on the supply chain and going all in on their 4680 cells, using high nickel, nickel and manganese, and iron-based cells for a diversified battery approach. Elon Musk talked about batteries and the public knowledge of batteries in that same interview we watched earlier. Here's what he said.
I mean, there's so much nonsense out there about batteries. Like you can believe about 1% of what you read. Maybe.
So maybe this Toyota technology is revolutionary. Apple can utilize it, use their own full self-driving chip, get to market by 2025, and truly compete with Tesla. But what seems more likely at this point in time is that Apple will be behind Tesla on a lot of stuff. They'll probably make a great product, it'll probably sell pretty well because people love Apple, but it'll probably also be only for the premium market, while Tesla will continue to grow and make more and more affordable electric cars. Either way, I'm excited to see what this Apple car ends up being, and we know that they're hard at work on it thanks to this week's new news about their head of autonomous driving, their autonomous chip, and possible timeframes of 2023 to 2025 for the Apple car. And either way, legacy autos should be scared. Whether Tesla should be is another question, but I think it's pretty obvious that if Tesla continues to grow and Apple comes to market, the future of cars is in for a huge change, and I can't wait. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe to this channel for a lot more videos like this. Make sure to like this video if you appreciated it. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RyanShawTech. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.